What do you get when you combine a passion for cinema, dedication even in the face of poverty, and coffee? Well, you get this. I genuinely don't think I have seen a better intro to a movie in my life. There's no bullshit, there's no faffing about, it's just a bunch of beans going fucking mental on the dance floor. Like, bro, what the fuck? These beans have got moves, I can't lie. What's even crazier is that this is the intro to probably one of the top 10 best action scenes I've seen in my life, which I'm just going to have to show you in a bit. But first, I think I should give you some context about this film. So this film was pretty much entirely made by this one guy called Jeff Liu, right? And this guy has some genuinely he does a lot of like visual effects, and he's got some genuinely serious films under his belt. Like as shit as Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief was, he fucking, the graphics were pretty good. He's got The Matrix Reloaded on here, X-Men, all this kind of shit. So he is good at this shit. He's good at effects and all that stuff. He hasn't written anything else except for like Killer Bean, and to be fair, and at some points that does sort of show, but he has literally devoted so much of his life to Killer Bean. It's almost outrageous. Like, he has been doing this since 1996. That's when he made the first episode of Killer Bean. I think he was going to do a series. Then it turned into and then he made like a 2.1 called The Party, which was cut down a bit and put into this film and remastered and all that stuff. And he made a good film. This is not just some random ass motherfucker from fucking, I don't know, South Dakota or some shit. I don't fucking know America. But he's actually like a serious guy with some serious shit under his belt, and he has a lot of fucking dedication, which in the end, enough dedication can make any film good, and this is just evidence of that. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the epic fight scene that I alluded to earlier. Just take a look at this. It's absolutely outrageous.
When I don't get enough sleep, I get irritable, and you don't want to make me.
Now, if you're wondering why the one bean that's dressed like a Lithuanian stripper is murdering the rest of them, it's because the party was stopping him from getting enough sleep. Then you get some Sigma male dialogue.
Wait! Who are you? Just a bean trying to get some sleep. Wait. You came here just to make us turn off the music? If you were listening on the phone, I said I would come here to turn it off myself. What? Are you insane? Do you know what you just got yourself into? Do you know who I am? Do you know who my uncle is? Yes, I do.
And then it cuts to the title screen. After this, the police arrive at the warehouse and go to inspect it. There's a detective who flexes his epic kill streak big kill, and just another regular ass police grunt model looking motherfucker. Anyway, they search the warehouse and find the single most badass and retarded design decision in the history of mankind. Then suddenly, a truck pulls up and the detective shoots the wheels for some reason. I don't know what he did that warranted that. However, upon being asked to get out of the car, we are told that this is vegan. Vagan. The other guy was calling earlier for some reason. Anyway, he has a conversation with the detective and the police goon, in which we hear about a bean by the name of Cappuccino, who Vagan works for, and the detective supposedly wants to capture or whatever. Tension builds as Vagan threatens the police officer. However, the whole situation is shortly diffused by the detective, who decides not to bother dealing with him. But he does give the Vagan. I keep going to say vegan, but it's Vagan for some reason. Anyway, he gives this guy the bullet casing. The next day, the Lithuanian stripper, Killer Bean, wakes up, and we see he's staying in an apartment that's just across the street. For some reason, he decides to pull out a sniper rifle and check out all the other Bean's arses. And then he notices the detective. And just as he's about to shoot him for some fucking reason, I don't know, he gets a call from his phone with the goofiest ringtone. Then we get the single greatest scene in cinema history. The scene fades into what looks to be a restaurant with a man sitting alone or dressed in black. Traditional Chinese music plays, and then it shows that he's in fact not alone. He's joined by another man who's sleeping. The sleeping man wakes up though when the first man gets a call about going to a mission in Beantown, which he responds by saying is a long way away. We learn that this black-clad Bean goes by the name of Jet Bean. And then we get to this part which I just fucking love so much.
They better have some good food in Beantown.
Wait! Are you leaving?
Yes,
How long will you go for?
a long time.
Oh. I have something I want to give to you.
Oh, you shouldn't have.
Here, it's the bill. You haven't paid in 3 months.
I'm leaving now. I will pay when I get back.
Hey, you get back here and pay now. Qintao, get out here. Hey, he say your food tastes like ass crack. What? Make bean curd out of him. Yo! Oh!
I said I'll pay when I get back.
Oh, it's okay. It's on the house. You don't have to come back, please.
Now, this great scene, which was absolutely diabolical, is followed by another great scene. Honestly, these two are probably two of the best scenes in the whole film. If you're not going to go by like how good an action scene it is, then if you want to just go by how funny they are, these are genuinely some of the funniest scenes I've ever watched. But basically, this one is a cartel meeting. So it's set in a high rise, and the boss of a cartel is telling his He's got his narcotics department there, and his narcotics have been suffering a 57% decrease. The thing that appalls this guy, the head of the cartel though, is that crime is on the rise. Now, the issue is, this means that drugs should be on the rise too, because in line with the weapons and actually the egg department, which for some reason the cartel sells eggs, and they're selling more eggs every year than fucking drugs at this point. So that's pretty fucking diabolical of the cartel right there. But I think you're just gonna have to watch this.
Why are narcotic sales performing so poorly?
It's all those anti-drug commercials on TV. You never see any anti-gun commercials. It's not fair.
It has become quite apparent to me that some of you do not value your job. Now, that is quite odd if you ask me, especially in today's economy. But I am forced to say, it is time to lay off a few beans!
Wait. I have a question.
Yes.
Will I be eligible for unemployment?
Let me check with the finance department on that, okay?
My social security number is 346.
Oh boy, is my batting average going to go up after this?
Hang on, let me just finish this level.
However, while attending to business, Cappuccino is interrupted by a vegan, who tells him about what just happened in the warehouse. Now this causes him to get pretty peeved, considering it was his nephew, and Cappuccino instructs Vegan to, quote, find and destroy Killer Bean and move everything into a central warehouse. Cut to the detective sitting in his office, discussing the forensics of the case with a friend. Basically, the gist of the scene is like, oh yeah, metal bullets, whatever, ballistic signature, whatever, yada 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 yada. But basically, the idea is that Killer Bean has to be working with someone here with money, or he has to have money himself. But they're probably going after Cappuccino because they shot everyone in one of Cappuccino's warehouses. Yeah. They also know that it was one person. They said this earlier, but basically they know it was one person because if it was like a gang war or whatever, then there'd be other dead beans. So that means that it has to have been one guy who was like really, really, really good. Action music starts playing as we fade to Killer Bean pulling up in the whip to somewhere in a pretty deprived looking part of town. He walks up to the door and prepares to make a dramatic entrance before just going through the window instead. And you know what? I'm just going to show you what happens next. As he goes out the door, the note gets blown out as well. Killer Bean notices a bar and offers some breakfast. As he walks off, the camera pans up to show the note, and apparently it says, Shadow Bean, you are too late. Killer Bean, goes in to the bar, orders a tequila, and watches the TV broadcast. Basically, the investigation of the thing he did in the first scene. And meanwhile, as he's doing this, as he's watching that, the detective who had a tip off as to where he might attack next, which I don't know how he knew this. I don't know how. It's never really explained, but for some reason he knew where Killer Bean was going to go. Oh, I don't fucking know. Anyway, he goes up there. He sees next to it Killer Bean's car, which is, he knows it's Killer Bean's car because in the scene earlier they showed the tire tracks and they said that he had to have some fancy car or whatever. So yeah, he went into that. He saw that car. He sees Killer Bean, and then something that's quite important. He takes off his badge, so he's trying to maybe do something a little unethical. I don't fucking know. So the detective, he goes in, he sits down next to Killer Bean, and he orders the same thing as him. And then this starts a bit of dialogue, tension, whatever. They start building tension. Killer Bean gets told he's being reckless, and he knows who he is and all this shit. And then starts showing off their guns to each other, and this is a bit intense scene. There's this fucking intense music going on, and then the fucking barman just comes out with a fucking shotgun and just points it at the both of them. And they Killer Bean points his two guns, one at the guy with it's on screen now. And they stay like that for a bit. There's a bit of dialogue, a bit of intense music or whatever, and then what happens is basically Cromwell is the first to lower his gun, and then Killer Bean then tells the barman he needs to go to the toilet. And we get an incredible piece of dialogue.
Sorry, it was a double flusher.
But you only flushed once.
While Killer Bean is in the toilet whipping up a diabolical shit, it cuts to Cromwell, who finds the note that says "Shadow Bean, you're too late," and he waits outside and ambushes Killer Bean, and we get a bit of a thing going along. Cromwell demands to know who the Shadow Beans are. Killer Bean throws him to the ground, threatens to kill him, but then decides to spare his life for some fucking reason. I don't know. Maybe murder in broad daylight is a bit too obvious for Killer Bean. We get a slide transition straight out of Microsoft PowerPoint 2007, and we cut to Cromwell sitting in his car talking to his mate, who I imagine looks like fucking Lester Crest or Benny L. And we get some backstory on what the Shadow Beans are. Basically, they're an elite private force for hire, and they used to work for the government and shit, and they're all spooky and yada yada yada. You can't do shit about them. Is basically the impression that you get from it. Meanwhile, Killer Bean arrives at the main warehouse he got the tip off about from Cromwell, and he's thinking up another dramatic entrance. We pan over some crates and we listen to some incredible philosophers having a discussion. My goodness, Socrates is rolling in his grave. He's terrified of these guys.
Hey, we're not supposed to be just sitting around drinking beer. Remember what Vegas said? He said we got to move all those crates by morning. If the cops find this stuff, we are screwed.
Where are we supposed to move them?
I don't know. I didn't really listen to that part. Hey, give me another beer.
Oh, here, have mine. I shouldn't drink anymore. I have a really bad cold.
All right. Wait, is this a low-carb beer? Hey, speaking of beer, did you beans hear what happened at the party last night? Some dude went in there and killed everyone. He even killed Cappuccino's nephew.
Jeez. Who was this bean that killed everyone? Is he someone I should be worried about?
Nah, he's probably just some crazed lunatic running around with lots of guns. That's the problem with this country. Too many crazed lunatics with guns. Ain't that right, baby?
The lunatics aren't the problem. The real problem is the guns. What this country needs is some serious gun control. I mean, we need to take away all the guns. All of them. And just get rid of them. But not my gun.
Then Killer Bean enters through the roof. Anyway, he steps on broken glass, which for some reason hurts him this time, and not the time when he jumped through the window earlier, but I don't fucking know. Anyway, he unfortunately murders the philosophers and proceeds to shoot a bunch of NPC enemy beans who just show up out of nowhere, fucking spawn egg, and start ragdoll. And oh my goodness, the ragdoll in this scene is outrageous. As the beans take cover, one of them calls that Vegan, as I was right the first time, who's staring out at the city looking menacing, because of course he is. Vegan says he's sending the best mercenaries, as Killer Bean notices some grenades, which results of two of the best deaths of the whole film.
Keep firing! Don't let up! Grenade!
After which, Killer Bean does a pretty fucking cool kill on an office chair. The camera pans to show Detective Cromwell watching from the roof. Then in comes a fucking tank, and I think I'll just show you this scene.
I can see we came to the right place. You made short work of these beans. Don't expect the same fight from us. My squad has been with me through hell. I hand-selected them myself in the academy 10 years ago. All of them graduated with top honors. I led these beans through 3 tours of duty, accumulated a total of 15 medals of honor, 11 purple hearts. Sure, we lost a few good beans, but you should see what we did to the other milk. Well, then we went into business for ourselves.
Huh? Oh, I'm sorry. I must have totally zoned out on you. Whoa, my eyes are starting to water. Whew. Sorry. Let's make one thing clear. Last night was a party. Tonight, I get to work.
I fucking love this scene. Like the way that they just all come in, and he just murders like half of them. It's the most like funny anticlimactic shit, because they thought that they were something, and he showed them. And then also, honestly, some of the choreography is just like the way he shot the rocket inside the launcher. That was pretty cool. But yeah, that one spinny move just killed half of these guys who were talking about how great they were. Yeah, that's Yeah. That was a pretty good. The action is not over yet. Motorbikes approach and Mr. Bean. I called him Mr. Bean. Oh, fuck it, that's staying in. Killer Bean picks up a heavy machine gun and starts shooting at him. Probably because he's only just realised that a machine gun might be slightly better than two, like, shitty little pistols. But anyway, he kills the first one and jumps over the motorbike. His body falls off, which goes hard, I can't lie. All this time, the epic music is playing. And he shoots the other one and it crashes into the wall. The third one shoots the gun out of his hand somehow. I don't know how that's supposed to work. But anyway, he does an epic kick and he kicks the guy off the bike, which is most certainly fatal. That Jesus fucking Christ. However, the last one is the big boss, Vegan. And he has some sneaky tricks up his sleeves. He jumps off the bike and shoots it with his 2-gun, which make the most satisfying gunshot noise in history. Yeah, these goes so smooth. And then this causes the bike to currently on a collision course with Mr. Bean to Mr. Bean. I keep saying Mr. Bean. Fuck it, this is all staying in. So yeah, it basically turns it into a bomb, which explodes and knocks him to the ground in a pretty good ragdoll. And Cromwell gives up hope on Killer Bean. Now, Killer Bean wakes up to see Vegan telling Cappuccino to just kill Killer Bean instead of interrogating him. An interrogation begins that was clearly inspired by the 1996 Killer Bean animation. Cappuccino slaps him around a bit before ordering him to be killed. However, yeah, Killer Bean does a pretty cool thing.
How does it feel to be killed by your own gun?
Funny. I was about to ask you the same thing.
Still watching from the roof like a little fucking cuck. Cromwell calls the police and finally, gets come along. And as he's doing this, we get this reveal that it was never about Cappuccino at all. It's actually about Vegan. Vegan is the one that Killer Bean's been going after. And that leads to this wonderful moment.
Too soon. I like to stay on top of that stuff.
Good idea.
Oh, by the way, Vegan, you're fired!
The music switches to tense as Killer Bean and Vegan start talking. We discover that Vegan was a Shadow Bean named Dark Bean. Basically, when Vegan joined the Shadow Beans, they were doing good things. They were helping the country, helping the government, yada yada yada. However, he worried that they had sold out. And he also believed that the reason that they chose Killer Bean for the job was because he was a liability. And their plan was anybody who he could talk to and explain about how bad the Shadow Beans was potentially going to die. They sent him after him because they thought that Killer Bean was good enough to get the job done because he was one of the best of them, but also because he was not very controllable. So if they get rid of him, he knew that one of them was going to die. So Killer Bean says he doesn't believe what he's saying, slowly lowers his gun, and Vegan sees this and reacts to it, but not as quick as Killer Bean. There's sad music as Vegan falls and says something about how now they're both dead. The sad music goes on as Cromwell calls his backup. Meanwhile, Killer Bean calls someone, and Jet Bean arrives in Beantown. Killer Bean sees to his dismay he's been deactivated. And there are some very cinematic shots of police cars all coming to arrest Killer Bean. Meanwhile, Jet Bean gets a call telling him he has to kill Killer Bean. A bunch of police appear out of nowhere and point their guns at Killer Bean, and there's one of those elite beans from earlier who's apparently a policeman or something. Suddenly, Cromwell tells the police to calm down, and he has an argument with Killer Bean. It ends with Cromwell offering a place to stay the night, an offer which the Beanie Boy accepts, only to discover that Cromwell was talking about prison. The next scene I'll show you uncut because A, it's funny, and B, writing video scripts are boring, and I've just realised this video is probably going to end up about the same length as the movie, so I literally provided zero value to you by making this movie. How are you holding up, editor?
were these guys? I like to know where they get guns like this.
Hey, don't touch that stuff. You know better than that. You're contaminating the evidence.
I don't think we're gonna have a shortage of evidence here.
Whoa, hold it. This is a crime scene. No one is allowed on the premises.
Yeah, nobody ought to know Egg Foo Young here.
Where is Killer Bean?
Killer Bean? We put his ass in the slammer.
Wait. Who are you?
Let me put it in a language you can understand. Oh, so sorry. No charm in here. You deliver. Wrong place.
Basically, the idea was Jet Bean attacked these motherfuckers to try and get into the same prison as Killer Bean. This is successful, and basically, Jet Bean uses super kung fu to beat up the police and break his handcuffs. We don't actually see. I've written Killer Bean here, but I mean Jet Bean kill all the police, but we hear it. It's actually a pretty smart idea because Jet Bean, being like unarmed, hearing guns, start firing like 50 guns, and then progressively fewer and fewer are firing, and it gets quieter and quieter. It's actually a pretty chilling intro to a scene. Now for the Jet Bean fight, of course I'm not just gonna show you it. I'm going to put some VJ Emmy on top. Because even though I'm like 1,000% sure somebody has thought of this before, it will be funny, okay? Shut up. It might not be original, but I'm still doing it. And if you're still watching, cheers, mate. You're a real one.
China in Uganda.
These are very nice guns.
The panther meets the tiger.
Are you sure you want to do that?
You need them more than I do.
So you're the bean they sent to kill me.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you?
I am Jet Bean, assassin from the east.
I completed my mission. Why do they want me dead?
They don't tell me why, and I don't ask.
They decided to kill me the moment they sent me on this mission, didn't they? That's what Darkbeam told me. The agency knew that once I found out the truth about them, they couldn't trust me. And they were right.
Save your breath, Killer Bean. You're going to need it.
Don't you know what the Shadow Agency is? Don't you realize how they're using us?
I can see you've been brainwashed by Darkbeam. He was a fool. No one Shadow Bean can threaten the agency.
But I'm no Shadow Bean.
Super kicker.
I certainly hope you trained harder than that. Well, at least you're in the fighting mood now.
Everybody, you got mushroom super feature. Watch this.
You have been a formidable opponent. I am sorry I have to end this game. You already tried that.
It's over.
Not for you.
Honestly though, jokes aside, that final kill was fucking cool. The way he did that fucking flip and then the shooting. Yeah. I mean, I haven't written that much here. It's kind of obvious at this point in the script writing. I was just kind of a bit sort of fucked. So yeah, I'm just going to talk a bit more as well. By the way, if you made it this far, thanks. Honestly, you're a real one. But yeah, that's basically going to be this video. Although I've got a few more things to say. I'm recording this on the 20th of December 2023. Now, I've written here that I want to pump this out in 2023, and then I want to try and get out a video a month in 2024. I hope that's the case, because the thing is, I'm either going to have... I've actually only uploaded one video in 2023 so far. Probably going to stay that way. If I can, you know, fucking go full grind with the editing, I might be able to get in 2 videos. But what I'm going to try and do, and I'm going to try and commit to, is 1 video a month. Every month. For 2024. At least. And I'm going to try and make it of suitable quality. Obviously, if I get to, like, you know, the 25th and I still haven't made a video, it's probably not going to be that well. And the only other thing I'm going to say is maybe don't expect the highest quality stuff in around, like, April, kind of August. Wait, fuck. You know what I mean? Like, middle of the year, because I've got A-levels, basically. Thanks for watching this. Please artificially inflate my channel. If you're still watching, good fucking bye.